Hello engineers and welcome to my channel. I'm Yash and in this video we will learn Sass. So what is Sass? Sass is a preprocessor scripting language. So it's just a language, right? So for you to use Sass, you need a compiler. So what Sass compiler does is it will convert your Sass down to CSS because browsers don't understand Sass. So so next question is why should we use Sass, right? Well, that's what the video is for. So let's get started. Here I have some boilerplate code, like you can just copy it down. It's just this, and I also have empty styles folder, right? So in order for you to go along with this tutorial, you need like two extensions, very important, and they will help you a lot. So first is live server, and I guess many of you would have this already. If you have it already, awesome. So do get this by Ritvik Day. Thank you, Ritvik. And next one, so what this basically does is, let me show you. So once you install this, you will get this go live icon in your status bar. So just hit that and it will open up your whatever your default browser is, and it will load your HTML, right? So what this does is it will auto update, right? So if I do one, so if you see here, it's just one, right? This button, and if I hit save, it becomes one, right? I don't need to refresh the page, it auto refresh. And I'll just do Command Z and go back, and it's perfectly fine. So next extension that you will need is Live Sass compiler. So once again, that was supposed to be by Ritvik Day, but now there is a warning that this extension is deprecated. So what you do is click here, use the new Live Sass compiler, and it will take you to this by Glenn Marks, and just install, right? And you are good to go. So just two extensions. So let's start by writing some Sass, right? Go back here, and inside styles, I'll just create new file, and this files have extension of SCSS. So I think it's I read it somewhere. So it should be Sass script, right? So that's why it's SCSS. Anyways, here what you do is, so if you see here, I'll put my index.html side by side. Here you can see like this div one. Let's just write some basic stuff. So I'll just do dot one, and I'll just say I'll also put this here and right here. And you know what, we can keep this here and close our index.html. We know it's dot one, and here I'll just say h1 because I know that's h1, and I can just say font weight, and this is going to be lighter. And if you save it, so nothing works because our Sass is not compiling. So what you do is, after you install Live Sass, you just click here, right? And it will do its magic, and you will see here, and eventually it will, if you save again, it will show you success, right? So it's working fine. And now if you come here, you can see it's lighter, right? If I comment this out right now, and it gets bolder, so I'll just do that again and save it, and it's lighter. So two things. If you don't see this, that's because you need to do this. Open this up. You will see that eventually this is converted down to index.css, which is right here. So just close that. You don't need to mess with that. Go to your index.html and add this line, right? That's how your HTML knows that's where CSS is. Next thing. So if I close this, the output, and save again, it just pops back, open up, right? Like, it's very annoying. So what you will do is go to file, and code preferences, and for Windows people, I think you can figure it out. Just go to settings. Here you will click workspace and change it to JSON, right here. So this settings will be limited to your workspace. So don't worry about it bothering other projects and stuff. So just start typing Live Sass stuff, and this one had show output window on. So here you can just make it none, so it won't open up like anytime. Or what I like to do is, let's set it to error. So if there are any errors compiling, we can see what's going on, right? And now if I close this, right, close that, we have this, save the file. I'll close this, and now if I hit save again, let's remove this. And if I hit save again, all good, right? It does work and there is no window. So just two things. Okay, so H1, so you saw it, right? This is how it works. So in normal CSS, what you were required to do is you were supposed to do this, right? But we are able to do this, which is called nesting. So this is one of the feature of Sass. Well, let's just keep this, and we also don't need this. Next, you know what we can do is leave H1. Next, we can target our button, which is 1, and we can do some basic stuff, right? So I'll just do padding, and let's just say 10 pixels and 30 pixels, and save, and you can see it works. And we can also do border none, and it looks good now. And we can also have a background color, and let's just say aquamarine, right? And if you save it, you can see it right here. So what if you want to change its color on hover, right? Like you want to change background color on hover. So one thing you would like you may have guessed you would do is, so you can do it here, right? Just say hover right here, and probably just say background color to aqua, save it. And now if I go back and hover, it does change to aqua, right? But there is a better way. What you can do is go back and you can nest again, and here you will say and do the same thing, which is going to be hover, and we can just copy this, cut this, remove this, and paste it right here. And now once I save it and do the same thing, it works. You know what, instead of aqua, we can just do red. It's a really bad color, but anyways, it does work, right? So let's bring it back to aqua, and that's fine. So it does work. Next thing, so you can also do like after selector right here. So and after, and you can just say content, and we can just put an arrow, and you can see the arrow right here, right? But what if you want to show this on hover, right? So very simple, just cut this and paste it right here, and it should work just fine, right? Awesome, look at that, super amazing. Next thing, what we will do is, it also has import feature, right? So let's say okay, let's just copy this and just paste it right here. Instead of 1, we can make it 2, right? So both this are style, right? Once again, I'll show you my HTML. Like, so this is our HTML, just copy it, go back here and put it back. So let's say your file is like it's getting really large, right? And you want to separate it into another file. So you can do this with Sass, right? So what you would do is, inside your styles folder, create another file and make sure it has underscore, and you can just say 1.scss, and awesome. Just close this, and inside index, just copy this one part and paste it right here, save it, and I'll close that, remove this. So for now, you can see that it's not styled, right? So what the way you import your Sass script is, just say import, and here you will just say just refer to the file, right? And so when you import, there will be no underscore and .scss, so don't worry about that. And don't forget, so if I save right now, it will give us an error. Do you see that? So when you get an error, you see the output, right? Super sleek. Just close this. I know what the error is. Put the semicolon and you are golden. Awesome. So that's import. Next, we will talk about variables. Yes, Sass does have variables. How do you use that? Let's go here. First variable, let's create a variable for our background color, right? So just say BG color. We can also do BTN BG color. Okay, let's just do that. And this will be colons. And you can just say aquamarine here and save it. And here, instead of aquamarine, let's first change it to red so that we know it's working. So I'll remove this right now. And now I'll just say BTN BG color, and it's aquamarine again. Now you can use the same this BGN thing. So just copy it. You can go to one SCSS, and we can put it right here as well. So I'll remove that and paste it here. Remove that extra semicolon. Save it. Now do make sure one thing, like, so if you're importing before setting the variable, it won't work, because like So just think like this: everything is like compiled in order, so it has to be below. So import needs to be below variable, right? Because you are using variable inside your import, that's why. So once again, let's prove the point. So now we are using variable in both the button colors, and here let's make it aqua, and it will change for both the buttons, right? Awesome. So that's variable, and variable can have numbers, it can have pixels, and all that simple stuff, right? Let's create one more basic padding, and you can just say 10 pixels, 30 pixels, and save it. And you can change this to padding, right? Like let's do basic padding and save it, and it does work. Okay, and if you change this to, let's do 60, it works just fine. Okay, just proving my point. So for now, let's just remove all these variables. We are done with variables, and I'll remove, so I'll just change this back to 10px and 30px. And we also need to change this to, let's do aquamarine, and that's that. And let's do one thing. We can also go to 1.css and remove all this. Like, let's not worry about that right now. And we can also remove our import. Okay, so next we will talk about mixin. So what is mixin? Mixin is just like function, right? Like we have functions in JavaScript and Python and stuff, so you can basically reuse function in your code, and you can also have arguments and parameters and all that stuff, right? So let's create our mixin. The way you create mixin is add mixin. So that's how Sass compiler knows you are creating a mixin. Now here you specify a name. So what we can do is basic button, and this will be our mixin. And we can just say padding is going to be 10 pixels, 30 pixels, and save it. We can also have border none, and we can also have background color of aquamarine, save it. And the way you use a mixin is, so remove all this, right? Remove all this. Let's close this, we don't need that. And here just say add include, and you will just say basic button, and make sure you have those parentheses, right? And now once I save it, we can see that it's working just fine. You know what we can do is, let's do this as well. So let's do .1, and this is going to be button, and at include basic button, and we are fine. Okay, just put semicolon, right? And you can see it's there for both of this. And hover is not working. You know what you can do is you can also do this. So let's do this. Let's move hover inside our mixin, right? So that will be pretty fascinating to see. Okay, even I have not tested this. So okay, wow, awesome, right? It does work on both the buttons. Okay, so that's mixin. Now let's try to create a mixin with a parameter, right? So the way you do that is just put parentheses here, and you will create a variable. So this will be bgclr, right? Like, and here you can just say $bgclr. Now so for 1 we can do aqua, and for 2 we can do let's do aqua first. So both are aqua, and we can change this to marine, and this is aquamarine. Now you can see like how powerful this can get, right? So that's super awesome. And mixin works like, let's say you have mixin in another file, even that works. So what we can do is, you know what, let's just do this. We already have 1.css, put it right here. So mixin is right here. And now if I save this, it will give me an error because we need to import again. So I'll just do import, and this is going to be 1.css semicolon, and we are golden, right? Now it should just work fine. Okay, yeah, I think it is working. Okay, it did show success. Like, we are not saying success because of less space, but we can test again. Like, let's just change it to red, and it does work, right? Awesome. So that's mixin, guys. Once again, I'll just remove the import. Next, we will be talking about extension. You know what? We can leave import right here. So what we will do is, if you go back to index.html, okay, so if you see here, we have button with, so this button has btn class and this one has btn rounded. So this is something pretty similar to Bootstrap, right? So what you can do is you can go to index.css. You know what? Let's just remove everything, save it. Even let's go to one.css. Like, yeah, just you know what? We need this. So what we can do is just copy this, copy the whole damn thing, and remove this, and go to index.css. So the way, so let me show you. Let's do one first, and here we will paste all this. So if I save and something is wrong because of this, and let's just change it to aquamarine, save it, and I'll just close this, and it does work fine, right? Now this is one, not for the button, right? So let's just do dot one. So it's supposed to be .btn. So okay, so that's for button. Both of them are working just fine, right? Because both of them have btn class. So now let's say you want to turn this two into same btn, but you want it to have like rounded borders, right? Border radius. Now, so what you can do is, let me show you, very amazing. So this is like inheritance, right? And you will just say btn rounded, because that's the class I named. What you will do is just do include, right? And you will just say btn. So now this will include everything. So wait, okay, my bad. It's supposed to be extend, and this is going to be btn. Now if you save it, it works just fine. But next thing what we'll do here is we will give it border radius, right? And now let's give it border radius of, let's just do 10 pixels, and you can see border radius right here, right? Awesome. And you know, just to prove point, we can change it to 30 pixels, right? And I think I did not tested this, but let's do what happens if we add another background color. Does it override? And awesome, look at that, it does override the background color. Super amazing. And so that actually, one more thing. So if we go back to, I just realized the fact we actually don't need this. That doesn't, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Okay, now it still works, right? So it's just btn rounded, but just less code. And the true power of this is, like, let's say you change your paddings, right? So if I make it 70 here, it's 70 all across, right? So that's inheritance. So one last thing before we call this a video, right? We are almost done. So you can do all the basic math operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So let me just quickly show you one. So here we have padding of 70, and I'll just do basic padding. Let's say for all buttons you have basic padding of 10 pixels. Like this one, right? This guy here. You know what? Let's just put it right here. So dollar basic padding, and it's 10 pixels, right? And you can, I think you can do 40 pixels right here, and it does work. Okay, so let's say here you have basic padding, but you want to increase it by factor of 2. So what you can do is just multiply by 2, and you will be just fine. I think you should be able to put parentheses. I did not tested this. Okay, this makes much more sense. You can also add, right? You can add 2. I think 2 won't make a big difference, but let's do 200 here, and you can see it's a pretty big damn button, right? So make it 20, and it looks just fine. On the contrary side, you can also do minus. This will be minus 5 pixels, and it's pretty thin. You can also do minus 7 pixels. It's much more thinner. You can also divide it. So if you just do divide by 2, and this will, it's 5 pixels, pretty same thing. But let's say if you increase this, let's say you increase this by 30, like just 30, and so it's 30 divided by 2, it's 15 pixels, right? And one more thing, I think, so if you, so I think it's pretty simple, right? So padding will be, so 30 divided by 2, 15 pixels. So what we will do is go to our index.css. Now this is our basic CSS. That's what compiler does. It changes it. It compiles it down to CSS. And look at that. It's 15 pixels. So let's put it side by side. So it's right there. Close that. Close this. And you can do all the stuff and you can see like what's happening, right? Like, and you can make this 20 pixels. This will be 50 pixels. Look at that. Awesome, right? Okay, guys, that's Sass. And if you want to learn more, just Google Sass. And you can go here. You can click on documentation. You can learn more, figure things out. And that's it. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for future videos. And I'll see you guys next time.